All right. Woohoo, I'm live. Cool. All right. Hi, everybody. I am. Nope. I'm trying to see if. Nope. Apparently, the main purpose of me doing this is that I cannot go live in this group, which is super helpful. Well, and that doesn't work. Yep. Hang on one sec. I may have to change some settings here because this one group that I'm supposed to be broadcasting this in doesn't allow me to go live. Well, that doesn't help. All right, let's see if we can get this going here. Where? Now I gotta fix this. Do. Oh, sorry, guys. Need to change some group settings so I can do this. Group settings. There we go. Let's see, where do we... Live videos. There we go. Okay. All right, let's try this again. Maybe it'll go now. There we go. Okay, now I'm finally in the group that I'm supposed to be in order for me to do this presentation. So hi. Basically, I decided about a week ago, after seeing a couple of things through some of the Facebook groups that I admin, that it might be helpful to do a very basic 101 how to spot a scammer webinar. Because there's a lot of them out there. And even though a lot of people have become more aware of how to detect those, it's still happening a lot. So what I'm going to do, I made like a little presentation, and we'll kind of go through it. And again, this is going to be very, very basic stuff. So most of it, for those of you who are in some of these good and bad trader groups, you probably already know this. But I still think that it needs to be said. So without further ado, I am going to share my happy little screen. There we go. All right. So look, I even made a pretty presentation and everything. And my dog's barking in the background, and I got the dishwasher going behind me. So obviously I am doing this at home in the comfort of my living room. So how to spot a fake or scammer profile on Facebook. And again, this is just for Facebook. This isn't for eBay, Craigslist, anything like that. This is just Facebook. So, some of the things that hopefully you will get out of this by the end, you'll be able to catch immediate red flags as an admin of a group, a general Facebook user, or a potential customer on Facebook Marketplace. And the second thing would be also to learn how to dig deep to get into those profiles of these people to see if they're legitimate people or not. Me. Oh, apparently my picture doesn't want to show up. Well, that's very rude. Oh, it's because it's sitting up there. Well, that stinks. Okay, well, there was a picture of me there. And what qualifies me to run a webinar like this? Bear with me. I still need more coffee today. Basically, I have been in property management for over 20 years. Background checks are part of my day-to-day. Just to, approve people for apartments and things like that. So it's just something I've just naturally come to do on a daily basis, is to kind of dig a little deeper on some people to see if, they're going to be a good fit. Make sure they're not convicted felons, all that good stuff. I've been a model builder for just about 2 years. I have my own YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook for model building. I'm also a veteran online dater. And if any of you have ever been in the online dating pool, you know that there are a lot of scammers out there. If you have never been in the online dating pool, well, you're going to learn how to figure out those people anyways, should you ever happen to find yourself on those on those sites. I'm all right. Can't even talk today. I am a Facebook admin for over 15 groups. And those groups, 6 of them, I believe it's 6, it might be 7, I can't remember, are model building related. And my group sizes for all of my admin, groups that I admin across the board range anywhere between 185 people to over 7,000. With that being said, the group that has over 7,000 members usually gets about 5 to 6 fake profile requests a day. I think one of our other groups is over 10,000. I have to double check on that, but that group definitely gets a lot of fake profiles. So it's just become natural for me to second guess and double check everybody to get into those groups as well. So, and that ranges from anything from age, if it's an 18 plus group, making sure that the person's 18 years or older. And with model building, there's also very obvious red flags as well. And to answer your question, person that just popped in, no, there's actually a bunch of other people watching, but they're also watching through Facebook as well as YouTube. So you're not the only one there. But feel free, as we're doing this presentation, certainly feel free to post comments. They will pop up, and I'll be able to answer any questions that you have. But yeah, so that's just a little bit about me. And the reason I'm doing this, like I said, is just because I'm really tired of watching people get scammed. These are good, honest people, and they're just trying to enjoy their hobby or participate in a group or find love. And I'm watching it happen left and right, and it's just ridiculous. So before we get started, I do need to put out this disclaimer that the views, opinions, and observations in this presentation are mine alone and do not specifically represent the views, opinions, or observations of any of the groups that I admin. So this is just pretty much that's it. And to answer the comment, yes, I know you want more builds. I decided that I was going to go ahead and just post this on my YouTube channel just because it is model related, but also just to kind of get the word out a little more and also to put more content on my page. So that's pretty much it. All right. So if you are a Facebook, apparently change that. There we go. All right. If you are a Facebook admin, there, you'll get your notification that people are requesting to join your group. If it is a private group, if it's a public group, you may or may not get those notifications. If you are a Facebook admin in a private group, it might be beneficial for you to turn off the feature that allows current members to invite people in. Reason being is if you're not thorough, or any other member of your admin team is not thorough in the background checks, they could let in a scammer or a fake profile. And the next thing you know, your group is getting spammed like crazy. So one thing you might want to do is just switch that off and only let admins or moderators approve members. But here I have an example. I just did a screenshot off my phone of someone that requested to join one of the groups. You can see at the top, it's Diagramatrix and Tips. Hi, Joe. And this group is a very, very, very large group. And actually, you can see it has 11,000 members. But it is a private group, and admin and moderators are the only ones allowed to approve members. So these are the things that you're going to want to look for. And you're going to want to examine these profiles. And once you get this kind of rolling, you will... It will take literally seconds to approve people. This is going to be a little more in depth and a little more thorough. But once you kind of pick up, the stuff I'm laying down, it really should not take you very long. So the first thing we're going to want to look at is the number of friends, how many groups they're in. I'll just kind of put my little thing over here. Most importantly, how new is their profile? What I've found is that any profiles from 2019 and older typically are legitimate people unless their accounts have been hacked. Anything in the last 3 to 4 years, I would always question. And that's typically because that's when most of the Facebook scammers kind of started creating fake profiles, was around that time, and started infiltrating groups. So again, you're going to want to look at the age of the Facebook profile that's been created. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that a model builder, for example, who made a profile last week is a scammer. I know multiple people who have multiple Facebook accounts. I have my own sock puppet account, which I'm willingly happy to admit. But excuse me, you really kind of want to look at just a bunch of things. But again, anything that's been created recently, you're going to want to check. You're also going to want to look at their pictures. Now, I'm going to guess based on the person's name that they're probably a male. So in this case, the actual Facebook picture, the profile picture, is actually a very pretty lady. And we'll actually switch to the next slide, actually has a close-up of her. So that's a little strange. But we also want to look at the fact that the first picture is the very pretty lady. And then the next 3 pictures, and again, I'll show you those on the next slide, are a group of guys, probably maybe late teens, early 20s. That's a little strange. Typically, for me, a big red flag is if someone's name is Mark or Jim or Phil or whatever, and they've got a woman as their profile picture, I'm going to question that. Also, in regards to model building specifically, I'm always going to check the female profiles a little more than the male. And I know that's sexist and I really shouldn't be saying it because I am a female model builder. But in the cases where it's some sort of scantily clad girl looking like she's going to the club, I'm going to question that because I don't see those same girls building models. It would be nice if they did, but 9 times out of 10, those are just eye candy to ensnare you and entrap you into giving them all kinds of money and promising love and all this other garbage. So if your group has, and going back to my little profile thing, if your group has questions to answer prior to being accepted into the group, you want to make sure that those questions or those answers to those questions make sense. In one of the groups that I'm in, we specifically ask if you're a member of a bad trader list. Sometimes I get the answer of, okay. I always question those too. So anytime a question or an answer to a question seems a little out of the ordinary, look at that profile a little closer. Also, if you manage multiple groups like I do, you might also want to see if they've been banned from some of those other groups. And that actually will be a notification that'll probably show up right between the date that they joined and the number of groups they're in. In this case, this person has not been banned. They are banned now. Before I banned them, I guess that didn't show up. But now if they were to try and put in a request in any other group that I admin, that's going to pop up for me. So what you want to do is you want to look at if they are banned from a group, what group is it? And if it's someone you don't recognize, you may want to ask the other members of your admin team and go, hey, why is this so-and-so banned? And usually someone in that group will tell you, oh, they're a scammer, they're a bad trader, they were kicked out because of inappropriate behavior, they broke group rules, something like that. So the other thing that you want to look for, and this is just profiles in general, not just for admin, but if you decide to click on their profile, and you can do that by just clicking on their name, and all of a sudden a new window will open and it'll show their profile. You want to look to see what kind of information they're willing to give you, where they went to school, where they work, if they're single, and we'll kind of go into this a little more down the line. But they all seem to typically follow the same status quo. Even if they're married, they typically don't associate themselves with another Facebook profile. They'll just say they're married. That can also be another red flag. If you're already spotting a few red flags and you see that one, you're probably dealing with a scammer. So to kind of look a little closer at this particular person. So again, And as I put, most scammers won't be connected with another profile. They'll be widowed, divorced, separated, or single, or show no status at all. Now, obviously, this person has given us no information at all. If I actually click on the about info, which I did not put a screen capture in, but it shows absolutely nothing. No education, no job, no location, nothing. Scammers are out there to create as many profiles as they can to basically juggle multiple accounts at once. And that's to either create, fake deals on Marketplace, or to try and get you to start chatting with them in hopes that you'll send them some money. But as you can see, there was a huge change in appearance, because these two pictures over here are the original profile pictures of this profile. And all of a sudden you got this really pretty lady. So upon further, I think the next slide actually shows a little more about her. It might be her. It might be a different. No, I think it's a different profile. Oops. But again, these are things that you want to question. Oh, yes, it's this one. Okay. So basically, I'm just going to go back. So with admin red flags, these are all things you're going to want to look at. In one of the groups that I'm in, I have, we have an over 18 age restriction, and we have 4 questions that have to be answered. And, and at this point, it takes me about 5 seconds, I think, at most, to go through somebody's profile before approving them. So again, I've been doing this for almost 2 years now for this particular group. So for me, it's all very, very natural. So hopefully for you, as you start combing through people's profiles before you approve people as Facebook admins, you're going to find it's a lot quicker too. So now, if you are trying to purchase something on Facebook Marketplace, and this is an actual scammer profile. This kind of went around some of the good bad trader groups this week, so I decided to yoink some information from it. Somebody had posted in one of the groups that there was an Annabelle Wallace who was looking to sell a model kit for a really good deal, I believe is what it was. So, but there was no information. It just said Annabelle Wallace. Now, Annabelle Wallace is actually a British actress. Not the same person, but there are multiple Annabelle Wallace profiles on Facebook, most of them being pictures of her and make fake celebrity accounts. But this one was a little different. As you can see here, there's a nice little family over here, and they are at some sort of stock show. Obviously, livestock's important to them. But they also have like a weird little bio thing. They say they live in the UK and that they're separated. Again, a little weird. But what I did was I decided to click a little more into this profile, and I went to go look at their photos. And there aren't many photos. I don't know when this account was specifically created, but I have a feeling it started out as a fake celebrity account for Annabelle Wallace. And then they decided to change it to this account to try and scam people through Facebook Marketplace. But the one thing I noticed was I've got a picture of a cute little, family picture here. That's their profile picture. There's their banner picture. But then all of a sudden I got these 2 girls here who don't actually match anyone in either photo. That's weird to me. So we're going to go ahead on the next page. We're going to find out who that lady actually is. But the other thing you want to do, and if you're in like a regular web browser on your computer versus on your phone, this is a lot easier to see. But the URL for this person's, oops, apparently it's not going to let me. Okay, fine. Just go back down there. The Facebook profile for this is Susan Wambu. I'm not even going to try and say it. Definitely a lot different than Annabelle Wallace. So looking at the Facebook URL is also a sign that this account probably is a fake. And they just, again, yoinked Annabelle Wallace's name and then decided to change the focus from a fake celebrity account to, try and scam people through selling through Facebook Marketplace. For any musician people or people who like, 70s and 80s bands, David Byrne from the Talking Heads actually has a number of fake celebrity accounts. And a couple of years ago, I think it was 2020, David Byrne actually posted a photo of him and his grandson on a pier, and it was on election day. And I had commented, and probably about every 6 to 7 months or so, I will get a David Byrne official Facebook profile telling me that, thanking me for being a fan and to kindly message them to discuss more. And of course, I get really excited. I'm like, oh my God, David Byrne's talking to me. No, it's not David Byrne. It is never David Byrne. It is not the real. He is too busy making music and art and being his awesome self. So if you ever come across someone who comments on something you've commented on or comments on a post you've made, and they really like how you look and they think you're very attractive and they would like to be your friend, they're a scammer. Just go ahead and report them and move on. Don't fall for it. Don't start speaking to them. They're only going to try and take your information. And I'll tell you a little later what they do with that information too. So let's go back to this lady. She's so pretty. So what I did was I went and did a Google image search. I saved the picture onto my phone, and then I went into images.google.com. I uploaded the photo. And I use Google Lens to do that, which is this little thing down here. And this is what it came up with. It came up with this lady called Lady D, who is a Czech actress. So obviously, there's a lot of fakeness going on in this profile. Fake name, fake people, fake listings. It's all fake. So again, when you're buying from people, you want to look at important things. How many things are they currently selling on Marketplace? What are they selling? Does the deal look too good to be true? Communicate with them. If you think it might be legit, start communicating with them. Their language is going to tell you exactly whether or not they're actually legitimate people. If they use ma'am and sir and darling and dear and sweetie and all those other terms of endearment, and that's all they address you as, 9 times out of 10, it's a fake account, or it's a scammer. And that's mostly because of their lack of knowledge of the English language. What they don't realize is that those terms of endearment are not necessarily things we use in our everyday language. When we're talking to, people we know and love, or strangers. I definitely don't sweetie darling everybody in my life. I don't really sweetie darling anybody. Now that I think of it, I have terms of endearment reserved for certain people in my life, but that's it. So anyways, it does not hurt to kind of feel things out if you're still not sure. But if just doing a little bit of digging in their profile, give yourself 2 or 3 minutes to do that. It could save you a lot of money. Let's look at this guy. Now this guy was selling a Ghostbusters, the Ghostbusters vehicle. And this one took me off guard a little bit. And to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure if it is legit. It would require me to message this person. But this dude is selling this kit. Now, I did open his profile. I did do a little digging because I'm like, all right, $40 for the Ecto 1 model kit. Okay, that's, I think that's reasonable personally. But that guy also happens to be this kid. Now, these pictures are about 3 or 4 years old, based on the dates that they were posted. So the guy might actually be like an 18 or 19-year-old kid at this point. But I thought it was strange that a child this young would have a Facebook account. However, it does say that he joined in June of 2013. So this Facebook account is about 10 years old, which means he could, if he did the right thing and joined at 13, that means he would be 23 years old by now. Again, I still don't know if this one's legit, but a little bit of poking around, I did notice this and I thought that was weird. So now to move on. Marketplace green flags. So if you are new to Facebook Marketplace or have decided you want to try and find your Holy Grail kit on Facebook Marketplace, there are things you should look for. So if the listing looks pretty and the guy posts a ton of pictures And again, if it looks too good to be true, don't be afraid to do a Google, reverse image search. Let Google tell you whether or not that picture is actually from some website someplace, rather than just some dude in, Iowa trying to sell you a model kit. In this case, this 60 Corvette is being sold by a gentleman named Rich Durden. Don't know if he's watching or not, but hey, Rich. He joined Facebook in 2010. He's got a 5-star rating and 392 reviews. That's amazing. That is someone that I personally would not feel conflicted about buying from just based on his reviews. So look at those. If someone's sold a whole bunch of stuff and it's got good reviews, just like on eBay, it's probably a reputable seller. So look for those things too. You'll feel a little more confident when you make that purchase. Dating red flags. Okay. I received a Facebook request for a guy named Mark to be added to one of the groups that I'm in. I have blocked out his last name, but this is his profile. Now, for anyone, looking at this, the first red flag that I got was the very pretty blonde lady named Mark. Now, granted, there are people who post pictures of their spouses and things like that. So that's what I looked at first. I decided, all right, well, let's see what this dude's got going on. Maybe that's a picture of his wife. And if so, that's cool. And I'm glad that he puts her as his profile pic. That's great. So I went and clicked on it. And I scrolled through his Facebook feed. Now, if his settings were not set to public on things, then obviously I wouldn't see them. And most of his stuff is actually for friends only. However, the profile pictures are public images. And I noticed that there were comments under this particular picture of this pretty lady. And someone asked who that was. And Mark responded with, "That's my fiance." And I thought that was weird because you would think that friends would know if he had a fiance in general. So I saved her photo, and I did a reverse image search on Google. And boy, did I come up with some stuff. Meet Beauty by Nita 1. This is her Instagram page. And as you can see, that's the same photo. I also did a little digging, and further down in her profile, she's got a picture with her and her spouse, and they bought some sort of dog sanctuary or something like that. In looking at the picture a little more, and looking at the profiles a little more, she seems very happily married. Don't think she's on the verge of divorce anytime soon. But again, these are things that you want to do those reverse image searches, and there's no harm in it. I've come from a background where I don't trust easily. And for me, if I get a picture of someone who's incredibly attractive and stuff, yeah, I might do a little background check. And not like a criminal check or anything like that, but I'll do a little stalking. And in this case, I wish that gentleman did, because it's clear that he's being catfished. It is clear that he's being scammed. I hope she has not asked him for money. But I have seen it happen before, where I have seen people who are, engaged to these women who, or men for that matter, who don't live anywhere near where this person lives. They never make time for video calls. The fake profile never has the time to do it. They're always busy. They have a bad connection, but they really need money. And I actually was the jerk, basically, who questioned somebody's engagement to somebody. And I ended up having to break the news to him that he was being catfished. And it sucks. It really, really does. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news and be that person, especially if this fake profile has provided somebody with so much happiness. But as someone who's had family members get scammed through the phone, and I've seen, I mean, even in my time in the dating circuit, I had a guy who said he was in the military, and we talked for like a week. And then he asked me for Google Play cards and Steam cards and, money so he could play games while he's over there. No, no, I am not Miss Moneybags. No, I'm good. Thank you. I can't. So those all ended very quickly. So typically, when you're looking at Facebook profiles, especially again when it comes to dating, if the person looks like they're straight out of a stock photo image, like this dude, he's probably fake. And I'm going to get to that in a minute too. Also, this little screen cap up here, which got cut off by this thing, the photos that this person was sending to somebody else were actually celebrity photos from somebody's Instagram page. And the person called him out on it, and the scammer tried to cover it up and just was like, no, you're definitely not a real person. But I wanted to keep this up here. I actually yoinked this from a quick Google image search, but this is all pretty much the same thing. So let's say that you've commented on a public Facebook page, like we'll just say People Magazine, because that's just one that I know brings a lot of scammers. So you comment on a story on People Magazine, and all of a sudden this very attractive, person, male, female, whomever, comments and says that they find your profile very intriguing, and they find you very attractive, and please private message me. I would love to be your friend, yada, yada, yada. These are things you're going to want to look for if you ever decide to engage into a, bear with me a quick sec. Okay. If you ever decide to engage in conversation with somebody, if they have a quick profession of love, and you just met them like 30 minutes in, all of a sudden they are absolutely head over heels for you. And I'm not saying that true love and love at first sight doesn't exist, because I know for a fact that it does. But, for this random person somewhere, just to say, oh, yeah, hi, my name's, John. Oh, nice to meet you. I love you. That's not realistic. Request to talk outside of your dating app, followed by request for money, or even on Facebook. If you meet with someone on Facebook and they say, hey, do you have WhatsApp? Well, yeah. Well, we should talk on there instead. Same thing. So if they make you go to another app outside of Facebook or outside of Instagram or whatever social media platform you're using at that point, question that. Because what will happen is you might give them your digits to contact you on WhatsApp. You'll start getting all the spam. They're going to be bugging you to buy crypto. They're going to be sending you, mail enhancement ads. It's ridiculous. If they ask for help with travel, debts, or medical emergencies, again, those are things that scammers are going to ask you. And they're going to ask you like right up front, because they don't want to spend days, weeks, months trying to develop a rapport with you so that you'll give them money. 9 times out of 10, they need that money now. They need that money fast. They don't have time for that. And what you'll find is that if you don't give them that right off the bat, that their communication with you will take longer and longer and longer. And eventually they may just fade away, and they may pop back up in like 5 or 6 months, or maybe a year. If they have claims of living, working, or traveling too far away to meet in person, I can't tell you how many men on oil rigs have tried to reach out to me. I swear that all of the most handsomest men in the world all work on oil rigs. And those can be out in Europe. They could be in Texas. They could be anywhere that's not near me. And and they get clever. They start photoshopping. and I'll kind of get to a story about that. I think it's on the next slide. They will Photoshop their profile picture onto some dude on an oil rig and go, look, here's a picture of me. You're going to find this too on your mobile gaming apps, your Words with Friends, or any of those type of things where you're playing with complete strangers. You will find people who are completely fake. And they will tell you that they're working out, overseas somewhere, and that they probably won't get back for another 3 years. But when they do, they're going to come straight to you and ask you to marry them, and you're going to go walk down the aisle and live happily ever after. That's basically the stories that they're going to tell you. So if this has ever happened to you, hopefully you realize it's not real. If not, I'm really sorry to be the one to tell you that. Request to send money electronically or in gift cards. Again, we've already kind of talked about that. That's pretty much how they roll. I don't know what they do with it, especially if you send them like Google Play cards, but that's pretty much what they do. You have to send everything electronically, whether it be a money order, gift cards, whatever. But those are romance scams, and also just friend scams. But romance is really the way that they try and get at your heart so they can get at your wallet. Okay, so all of these photos are my husband. My husband's pictures have been used, I would say probably at least 100 times. And he started creating a photo album of fake Michaels. Obviously, you can see from some of these that my kid is also in them, which really ticks me off. You'll see that they have names that might be close, like Michael White. And then there's ones that just, James Rambo, the one in the corner, which definitely brought a lot of Rambo gifts in the comments. But scammers tend to go after profile pictures of, for women, older men with gray hair, glasses, beards. It shows a sign of maturity. It might show a sign of affluence. It might show dependability, and being responsible and all that other stuff. The ironic part is my husband is soon to be 43. He'll be 43 in 2 weeks. But I'm actually older than he is. But with the gray hair, he looks older. And I will occasionally get messages from people going, oh, there's someone with your husband's picture who's trying to take my money. And those are also scams. And I just kind of ignore them. But there was one day where I came home and I had gone out with my boss for dinner, and I had a few drinks. And so by the time I got home, I get a friend request from this person who was using my husband's picture, and there were pictures of my daughter all over the place. So I didn't accept the friend request, but I messaged them and I said, I need you to take down the pictures of my daughter. And we got into a huge fight. I mean, I am ashamed at how I yelled at him. Like, we're talking like guttural, like back of the throat yelling. And I kept telling him he's not the real person. Now, my husband was in the next room. And he goes, no, I could prove it. I could prove it. We'll get on a video chat. So I immediately call him because I know he's completely lying to me. And he won't pick up. He's like, hang on. I have to get my camera ready. So he gets on. And what he did was he had his cell phone with a video that my husband did on his page, and another cell phone holding it up to that one to make it look like I'm, like it's broadcasting from one to the other. So it looks like I'm actually talking to him. And he started talking over the video recording. And at this point, I'm laughing hysterically at this because it was clever. The whole setup was completely clever, but I knew that they were lying. I finally got the guy to back down, and I actually got to see his face, and I got to talk to him for about an hour. And it was the guy was in Nigeria, and he lived in this house with a dozen other guys in Nigeria who are all doing the same thing. And I asked them how successful they are at this whole Facebook scamming thing. And he said, not really. Not, I have someone who's going to give me $20,000. And I said, really? What, like when? Oh, it's coming. Well, it never did. We actually tried, between my husband and I, we tried to actually get him on a better path. And sadly we failed. We tried to do some good out of it, but yeah. So anyways, I just wanted to show just how easily someone can take somebody else's public profile and make it into something completely fake and try and scam other people. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So anyways, it's my little Nigeria story. So what are things that you can do to prove that the person you're trying to interact with is a scammer? You can ask them to send a selfie in a specific pose. And we're not talking like Captain Morgan pose or some sort of weird yoga thing, but just like, all right, well, don't take this the wrong way, but I just need to make sure that you are who you are. Can you send me a photo with, 2 thumbs up or something like that? If they keep coming up with excuses why they can't do it, they're probably a scammer. You can give them a time frame and say, hey, all right, we'll pick up this conversation tomorrow. Just if you can get it to me by, noon, that would be great. And then if they manage to do it, they might be photoshopping a little bit, but again, you can kind of tell those things. Oh, that was one other thing I wanted to say too. One of the scammers who was using my husband's picture photoshopped his face onto one of those oil rig guys. But one guy actually photoshopped a passport. And I don't know what they did to my husband's face, but like his cheeks were all pushed in like this. And it was just a mess. So yeah, they're getting better at Photoshop. They're still not great. They're doing just enough to try and get the job done and make, and assume that you're going to be gullible and stupid. But anyways, so, again, ask them to send you a selfie with a peace sign, or maybe that Spock, that live long and prosper thing, something obscure that they may not be able to Photoshop that easily. Or video chat. Ask them to get on to a video chat and see if it's something that they will, that they'll do with you, and try and have a real conversation with them. And if it looks like it's recorded, it's probably recorded. So they're probably a scammer. And look at the language. And we already kind of talked about this, the sweetie darling thing. If they start their sentences with dear, sweetie, or profess love early in the conversation, they're probably a scammer. If they comment on your pictures on your Facebook page and they're not a friend, but they think you're good looking and want to be your friend because of that, they could be a scammer. And look at the words. If they sound too robotic, or they're not using a comfortable understanding of the English language, they could be a scammer. And keep in mind that last bit is for people who look like they may pass as native English speakers. If it's someone from another country who's learning the English language, that's a completely different story. But if someone gets on and they look like me and they say they're from Connecticut, but I certainly don't sound or type like I talk, in this webinar, you question that, totally question that. And all right, now you've determined that they are a scammer. What do? You report them. Make sure you report their Facebook profiles, their Instagram files, whatever, or not files, profiles. Make sure you report them to whatever the social media platform is that you're using. It may work, it may not work. It's kind of a luck of the draw, but it's a start. The second thing you're going to want to do, especially if we're talking model building and model trading and things like that, report those to the good, bad traders groups. This is broadcasting in one of them right now. If you believe that they are a scammer, you want to submit screenshots, you want to put up a post, you want the admin to take a look at it, and and then they'll figure out whether or not they are in fact a bad trader. But the more information that you can compile, the more screenshots you can give, the better. And then let's say a transaction has gone through and you have been duped, you want to contact the local authorities. You want to contact your police department, your bank or financial institution. And you definitely do not want to do any transactions with someone you don't know via friends and family on PayPal. You want to be able to dispute any purchases you make. It will cost them a couple bucks. It might cost you a couple extra bucks just to kind of pay that little bit of overage, just so that they can get the exact dollar amount that they're looking for. These are all things that you want to do to protect yourself. The other thing you can do with PayPal is you can ask them to invoice you via PayPal. And that way you're going to get a lot more information about them. You're going to get their email address and probably a couple other little bits of information here or there. But these are all things that you can do to kind of help protect yourself. And not to mention too, reporting these things to, the good and bad trader groups. It also helps the community too, because we are kind of all in this together. And the more that we can spread the word about bad traders and scammers and fake profiles, the stronger the hobby is going to be. So just keep that in mind too. If you have any questions on anything I've gone over, feel free to send me a message. You can do it through my Facebook model building page, BunnyKitten Builds. For those in the Good and Bad Traders list group, this is being broadcasted in, you're more than welcome to message me there or message any of the admin team, frankly. Or if you know me personally and I'm friends with you, feel free to send me a message on my regular Facebook profile. You can also reach me through YouTube, through my BunnyKitten Builds channel, or wherever. If you think you might be dealing with a potential scammer, certainly feel free to send the information my way. I'm happy to look at it. I can't guarantee that I'm going to be right or wrong, but I will certainly offer any advice and anything that I can dig up, because I do kind of geek out on being a little bit of a detective. And that's it. So thank you all for listening. Wow, I didn't realize I was going to go on for this for 46 minutes. So for those of you who've been here from the beginning, thank you. And, just, continue to report people that are not the best, and definitely ask questions. If you have questions, feel free to, screenshot the heck out of things and see what kind of feedback you can get from people. And, it'll make your overall enjoyment of social media a heck of a lot better. So that's it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and enjoy your day. Bye.